And welcome back to another daily cribbage. We're in search for an opponent against Henry. Let's see how this develops. Cutting a 3 is pretty nice. Start off as the dealer. Love to see it. We can keep 666 with the 8 or with the 2. I like putting the 2 with the king. And the 9 on top is really nice. Get that 12-point start. Love it. So let's go 8 here. And opponent has double 8, so 7, 8. See what they've got. They have a 5? No. 3, 4, 7, 8 gives them 7 points. We get our 12 in hand and a couple in the crib, so pretty good start for us. We made that 18 points. And what's next? Well, I think the thing that jumps out to me first of all is we've got ace to 4, but I'm also thinking we could keep 2, 3, 4, 6. Both pretty safe looking. Keep the 2, 3, 4, 6. And I'll lead the 3. 2 on top is really nice. And the nice thing about 2, 3, 4, 6 is we get this particular trap. So we get the 5 with the 2, 3 for 15, and then we keep the 6 to give us 31 as well. Also, the nice thing about 2, 3, 4, 6 is it scores just as many points as keeping 2, 3, 4, 10 or 2, 3, 4, 9. Anyway, we got a nice double run in hand. I don't see. I mean, we could throw away something like 10, 9 if we really need to hit anything, but we're doing just fine. So don't see any reason not to keep the double run. King, queen. Maybe our opponent has some jacks and things left. So I don't know. If they have a 6 here, it would have been a bit awkward, but opponent doesn't really have 6 there very often. They do have the flush with the 5 with lots of 10s hand. Takes them up to 33, but we maintain our lead going over the next milestone to 47. So again, we've got another double run. So we want to keep the double 8 in hand because that makes our double run worth more. We can throw away a non-flush, so slightly reduces the crib. We want to think about combos that add to 15, so probably want to go 8, 7 here. Opponent doesn't have many 6s because we threw away a 6. We don't want to go 8 in that position and make the total 26 because that's going to feed our opponents extra points when they have a 5. So 12 points for us, 14 points for our opponent, getting another flush, so they're not doing badly at all. They're going to be catching up as fast as they can. And we've got 2 options here. We can either go 4 jack or 8 jack, because 443 is going to improve to some really nice things, but I think just the 4 jack is fine. Okay, so in hindsight, we could have kept the 443, but it's all fine. Nothing to worry about here. We get the magic 11 going. And what they have, what was that? Double 9, 10 jack? No, double 9, double jack with the right jack. So 76, 53. Or 56. And okay, slightly interesting decision here. We've got a flush, but it does force us to break up our 7, 8. But we're very happy to do that. In fact, it allows us to keep the 4, 5 together, which is really nice. So we get to lead 4 here. If our opponent paired it, we'd go 5. They pair us 5, which means we get to make 31. Making 31 isn't as exciting as making 15 because making 15 is 2 points, whereas making 31, it seems like that's also 2 points, but actually you only get, you'd get 1 point anyway for the last card. Okay, they had 3 double ace there. I was quite worried about a 2, to be honest. But to finish my previous thought, okay, I lost my previous thought. We'll come back to it later. So, where are we at the moment? 102.77, and we look down at more absolute fire. Look at this. We could keep 2-3-5-5. We can keep 3-5-5-7. I'll just keep the 3-5-5-7. Really? No, I think we keep 2-3-5-5. Let's do that. Yeah. It's a little bit higher variance, the 2-3-5-5, but no, it's really excellent. Expect some 4s here. Yeah. 8 points for our opponent. Actually, maybe 9 points. So didn't keep track of the jacks. And opponent does avoid the skunk, but we're going to be in really good shape. Yeah, the computer didn't agree with our discard because, well, it wanted to keep more points with the 3-5-5-7, and I'm not really thinking here because, well, as soon as our opponent reveals 4-3, we know we've won. There's no hands that can score enough points. Okay, and that is good game. So, what happened here? Well, our opponent got quite a few flushes, but we ended up having a lot more hands that had lots of 5s and lots of nice combos in them. So, really telling part of this statistic is in our hand we got 100 points overall, opponent only got 77. We did also embellish that with some fairly reasonable plays. We got quite a lot of points on the play there, 28 to our opponent's 14. So overall, pretty smooth game. Let's try and go back and find something that we can learn from. So something that jumps out to me as I was reviewing this game was this particular hand, and the decision I made here is not particularly controversial, but there's just a lot of different options in this position, and it's worthwhile understanding all of the different things that are going on. So if we zoom out and look at our position, where are we at? We're at 18 points, our opponent's at 9. We're in a really fantastic position. We're pwn. This is effectively a free pwn, which means that we're trying to extend our lead from this position as much as possible, and going into the future we're going to get a dealer and a pwn to try and get to the next milestone, and then dealer and pwn to get to the next milestone after that. And so effectively we're trying to use this position, this moment right now, to sort of get as far ahead as possible, going into that kind of into that race. So when we look down at this hand, we're very happy. We see a lot of potential points here. The different discards that naturally come to mind here are, well, first of all, keeping the run ace to 4. So what was the anatomy of this hand? What makes it really stand out? Well, this is a hand that has ace to 4 as a run, together with a 6 and a 10 card. So that 10 card could be a 9 as well. You would see that as being very similar as well. And the analysis would follow very similarly as well. And this particular hand has a lot of different modes to it. So first of all, the thing that you can do is get rid of the 6 and the queen in this case. Leave yourself with ace to 4. The great thing about ace to 4 is that as a hand it will improve a lot on every cut card. So just think what happens if you cut a 10. If you cut any of the 10s, then you're going to make 2 lots of 15. So ace 4 10 and 2 3 10. So it improves from 4 points to 8 points. Similarly with 9 as well. There are 2 more ways to make 15, and also with 8 as well. 2 more ways to make 15. Any of ace to 4 is going to give you a double run for 10 points. And the 5, it might look like you only improved by an extra point because you extend the run by 1. But actually, you get an extra 2 points because ace to 5 adds to 15. So the secret 15 there. And the 6s, the 7s are also very fine cuts. They're going to get you an extra 2 points as well. So that means that ace to 4 is always improving by at least 2 points. So it's worth at least 6. And most of the time it's improving to 8, if not 10 points, with any of ace to 4 being cut. The worst thing that could be cut is a 5 because it only improves the hand by 3 points, and the 5 is probably going to combo a lot better with all of the cards that your opponent has. So that's the first mode, keeping ace to 4. The second mode, I think, is keeping either ace 2-3 or 2-3-4 with the 10. So it's usually better to keep the 2-3-4 because the 2-3-4 can extend to more different runs, and throwing away the ace is usually a lot safer in the crib. So the second option might be to keep 2-3-4 with the 10. And so what are the things we're hoping for here? Well, again, there are many ways for this hand to improve by getting a longer run. There are now some cuts that don't improve the hand. So those cuts are mostly 7s. So 2-3-4 doesn't make any 15s with a 7, and I think that's the only one. Of course, a 5 doesn't make any 15s with 2-3-4, but it does increase the run by 1, and it does give us an extra 15 because we kept a 10. But of course, the 5 is not an out because, again, it's going to combo with our opponent's hand and crib more often. So that's 2-3-4-10. The one that we kept, and ace 2-3-10 is similar, except from, in this case, we would have to throw away 4-6. That's kind of dangerous. It means that if our opponent throws away 5s into the crib, which they do want to do, it's a good thing to keep up, throwing away 5s into the crib. So it does mean that your opponent can't keep throwing away 10 king and it be extremely safe discard. In this case, throwing away 4-6 would be really punished with a 5 in the crib. So ace 2-3, 10 is probably it's probably quite bad because not only does it make fewer runs, so if a 5 is cut now, we've not only given away a lot of points in the crib, we've stopped ourselves from improving our run. It also plays quite badly as pawn. And the reason why it plays badly as pawn is because we've got an ace 2-3 as a sort of non-magic 6. So why is it non-magic? It's because our opponent in 3 cards can play 25 with a 10-10-5. So just to give you a sample line, let's say we play a 3, opponent plays a 10, and we play our 2 to make 15. Our opponent plays another 10, and then we're forced to play our ace, making the total 26. And if our opponent has a 5, then they'll make 31 and get those 2 points back, which is a bit of a disaster considering that we could have had a similar position, but instead of having an ace, we could have had a 4 instead. And that means that we can make the total 29, and our opponent doesn't get to profit from playing the 5. Now the next, so that's roughly what we can hope to achieve if we keep either 2-3-4 or ace 2-3 with the 10. The final option is to keep either ace 2-3, well that doesn't work in this case, but we can keep 2-3-4 with the 6. 2, 3, 4, 6 is actually a really nice hand because it sets up this trap that actually happened in the game. So this trap is that we can use the 2, 3 and the 6 as a magic 11. So we get, and also we get to use the 2, 3 as a 5, 2 card 5 to make 15. So in the game, we lead either the 3 or the 2, opponent plays 10, we play the other card, the other 3 or 2 to make 15, opponent makes it 26 with a 10, 25 with a 10, then we play our 6 to make 31. The nice thing about 2, 3, 4, 6 is just like ace 2, 3, 4, and also with 2, 3, 4, 10, 2, 3, 4, 6 improves by some number of points for every card that's cut. Probably the worst thing that could be cut if we have 2, 3, 4, 6, it is a 6, because that only improves us by 1 extra point, where we don't get to make any new 15s with the ace. We just get 1 extra point from it for increasing the length of our run. However, we do get in this with 2, 3, 4, 6, we do get the nice bonus that if we cut a 5, then we get a nice long run of length 5, and we do get an extra 15 with the 4, 5, 6. So this is why I quite like the 2, 3, 4, 6. It's got some nice trapping in it, so it plays quite well, and also it improves a lot, so it's worth quite a lot of points. Let's have a look at how all of these different options compare when we put it into the computer. So here we have the different discards given to us by Liam Brown's discard analyzer, and one thing that I didn't really touch on too much, but I can bring it up now, is the difference in averages from the point of view of the crib. So ace queen is a little bit safer than 6 queen, and that makes sense because the ace doesn't get involved in as more runs as the 6. The ace does get involved a little bit with 4s that our opponent throws away, but we block some of those 4s, so actually by not having a 9 in our hand, we're unblocking combos with the 6, so that means that the 6 queen is going to be worth a little bit more than the ace queen in the crib. Also, the ace 6 as well, that's also fairly safe. It's not as safe as throwing away the queen, because ace 6 can form some combos with, say, 8s, and the 6 can form runs, and so can the ace. The 4-6 is pretty dangerous, and mostly that's coming from the fact that our opponent could be throwing away 5s, and then we won't focus too much on the other discards. I mentioned that maybe ace 2-3 queen could be a discard, but as you can see, by throwing away 4 queen here, the hand average 6.22. It's not very high. It doesn't make as many points as, if we wanted to throw away ace 6 instead. If we throw away ace 6, keep the 2, 3, 4 queen, that improves a lot more, and it improves to a lot more points when it does. So in this case, everything lines up really well. We can throw away ace queen, which not only has the best crib score, but it also gives us some of the best hand scores as well. So the second option here, queen 6, keeping the ace to 4 long run, really a nice option. The hand actually does, so on average the ace to 4, it does have a slightly lower average than 2, 3, 4 queen. So part of that you can think is that 2, 3, 4 queen that's going to be worth, well, at least, 2, 3, 4, 6. As it is, it's worth 5 points, but of course, pretty much on every cut, it's going to improve by at least 2 points. So usually it's worth a base of about 7 points, and then with some cuts, it's going to improve a lot more. Ace to 4. I thought that ace to 4 would actually be really good. Let's have a look at sort of how these distributions change. So between the first two cards, between the first two discards. So by throwing away ace queen, keeping the 2, 3, 4, 6 as we did, we're saying that half the time we're getting the 7, and we also allow ourselves to get some possible 12-point hands. Where do those 12-point hands come from? Well, if we cut a 2, 3, or a 4, then that's going to be a 12-point hand because we're making the double run for 8, and also the 6 gets involved in 2 lots of 15s, so for 4 points. On the other hand, if we have a look at 6 queen as a discard, what's this all about? Half the time you're going to get 8 points, but you don't really have any chance to get more than 10 points because, well, the way you get 10 points is by cutting an ace, 2, 3, or 4. And that's the best you can hope for. The rest of the time you're going to be cutting, or half of the time you're going to be cutting some 10, 9, or 8, and all of those are going to give you 8 points. So the question is, what do you want to do for your median? For your ace queen discard, the median is 7 points. So that means that 50% of the time you're going to be getting 7 points here. Whereas if we throw away queen 6 and keep the ace to 4, then 50% of the time we're going to be expecting to get 8 points or more, which is quite good. So one little tool that you can use to sort of see this is to use this target score function. So if we set a target score of 7, then we can see that 93% of the time we achieve that target score of 7 with throwing away ace queen. However, if we bump it up one stage further, then that's the probability that we're going to score 8 or more points by throwing away ace queen dramatically drops. It's all the way down to 43%, whereas ace to 4 now has much higher chance of making it, and this is the only way to sort of guarantee that you're going to make 8 points is to keep the ace to 4. And so that can be extremely relevant towards the end game, when maybe you need at least 8 points in order to give yourself the best position going into the future. And maybe there isn't too much difference in other positions between getting, 10 points or 12 points. Maybe if you got 10 or 12 points, you would be guaranteed to win regardless of what happens. And maybe getting 7 points could be, getting 7 points means you might lose. And if 8 points means you win, then you have to keep the ace, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of subtle things going on here. And there are a lot of options with this hand, which I think makes it extremely interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.